Hey, beautiful. When you feel something's off, trust your intuition, woman. Have you ever felt a strange gut feeling about your man, but couldn't quite put your finger on it? Maybe he used to text back within seconds, but now he takes hours. Maybe he used to hold your hand proudly in public, but now he barely touches you. You're not crazy. You're not being paranoid. You're a woman. And your intuition is your power. Cheating isn't always obvious. In fact, some of the most heartbreaking betrayals come dressed in silence, in routine, in business as usual. Some women, especially those in their 30s and 40s, often dismiss the subtle signs because they trust too deeply, love too fiercely, and hope too much. But today, that ends. Today, we talk about the 7 signs he's secretly cheating on you, and why number 5 is the one most women miss. This isn't just a relationship video. This is a wake-up call. This is for every woman. Whether you're 25 and falling in love, 40 and rebuilding, or 60 and wiser than ever. Psychologists say women tend to rationalize red flags because they fear confrontation or being alone. But remember, silence and denial don't protect your heart. They prolong the pain. So grab your courage, sis, because what you learn in the next few minutes might change everything. 1. He's suddenly overprotective of his phone. If you're a woman in her 30s or 40s, you've probably noticed this shift before. He used to leave his phone lying around. Now it's glued to him like a lifeline. The sign: he starts sleeping with his phone under the pillow. He jumps when you reach for it, even just to hand it to him. He walks out of the room to take calls, whispering, "Just work stuff, babe." What psychologists say? This is a classic behavioral shift. According to relationship therapist Dr. Janice Levine, when someone is hiding something, they become hypervigilant about control. Their anxiety is more about being exposed than being dishonest. Why women ignore this? Because they don't want to seem insecure. But you questioning sudden secrecy isn't insecurity. It's intuition. Never let guilt silence your truth. 2. His schedule becomes too busy, but his behavior doesn't add up. Whether you're a busy mom in her 40s or a thriving single woman in her 20s, you know what consistent love looks like. Suddenly, he's working late, meeting the guys, or just really tired. The sign? He's got more late meetings than a CEO. But you've seen no real changes in his work. He cancels plans last minute. He avoids future commitments, especially holidays, couple trips, or important family events. What relationship coaches say. Certified coach Melanie Tonya Evans explains, men who are cheating often create vague, flexible windows in their schedule to spend time with the other woman. They don't give exact times or locations to remain untrackable. Why women ignore this? Because they rationalize the absence. They think, maybe he's just stressed. But remember, busy is a decision. Consistency is love. And vague schedules often hide specific sins. 3. He's emotionally distant, but physically fine. One of the most confusing signs for women is when their man stops being emotionally available, but still offers affection or intimacy. If you're a woman in her 50s or 60s, you may see this and say, "At least he's still coming home to me." But emotional infidelity often starts before physical betrayal. The sign: he listens less, talks less, and avoids heart-to-heart moments. He doesn't ask about your day. He's distracted, always on his phone, always tired when you try to open up. What psychologists say, Dr. Shirley Glass, author of Not Just Friends, says, cheaters often disengage emotionally from their primary partner as a subconscious way to justify their actions. It becomes easier to cheat on someone they're not emotionally connected to anymore. Why women ignore this? Because we're taught to value action over emotion. At least he hugs me. At least he hasn't left. But here's the truth. A man who shuts off emotionally is already halfway out the door. Before we dive into Chapter 2, ask yourself, have you excused any of these red flags before? Have you trusted his words more than his patterns? These early signs may seem small, but they are the emotional cracks before the earthquake. The next 3 signs. Most women miss number 5. He accuses you of cheating or being too controlling. If you're a woman in her 20s or 30s and your man suddenly starts throwing accusations or calling you too nosy, take it as a serious red flag. The sign: he flips the script when you ask simple questions. He gets defensive when you casually ask, "Who are you texting?" Suddenly, you're the villain in a game you didn't even know was being played. What therapists say: this is a classic projection tactic. According to clinical psychologist Dr. Ramani Durvasula, cheaters often project their guilt onto their partners to avoid accountability. It's easier to accuse than admit. Why women ignore this? Because we're nurturers. We start doubting ourselves, thinking, maybe I am being too controlling. No, queen. Asking for clarity isn't controlling. It's protecting your peace. 5. His appearance suddenly changes for no reason he can explain. This is the one most women ignore. If your man, especially one in his 40s or 50s, suddenly hits the gym, buys new cologne, and dresses like he's auditioning for a music video, but doesn't do it for you, something's up. The sign: he's overly concerned about his looks. He starts grooming more often, hitting the gym, buying flashy outfits. He gets a new haircut without mentioning it, or starts dressing younger. What dating experts say? Image consultant and relationship coach Sarah Jones says, when a man is seeking validation outside his relationship, he'll often transform his appearance to attract someone new. This glow-up isn't for his woman. It's for his new attention source. Why women ignore this? Because they're happy to see him taking care of himself. But remember, if he's glowing but not growing with you, he's pouring energy into someone else. 6, he becomes overly generous, but distant at the same time. If you're a woman in her 30s or 40s, this one is especially confusing. He starts bringing you flowers, buying gifts, saying "I love you" more than usual, yet something feels off. Emotionally, he's not present. The sign: he's love bombing. Not out of love, but guilt. He surprises you with a weekend trip, but spends most of it on his phone. He buys you things, but doesn't talk to you anymore. What relationship psychologists say? Dr. Laura Berman explains, guilty partners often try to compensate through material gestures, hoping their partner will focus on the gifts, not the gap. Why women ignore this? Because gifts feel like love. But ask yourself, is he connecting with your heart or just covering his tracks? Gifts without connection are just distractions. In this part, we expose the another 3 signs of secret cheating. And now you know why number 5 is often missed. Women, especially those who are loyal and emotionally invested, tend to focus on hope instead of patterns. But the truth always reveals itself through actions, not apologies. The final sign and what it really means. Don't ignore this one. 7. His intimacy patterns shift, but he blames you for the distance. This one stings because it's deeply personal. Whether you're a woman in her 30s, 50s, or even 70s, you've likely experienced moments where your man's physical attention changes. But when he suddenly distances himself or becomes unusually intense and blames you for the change, that's a red flag. The sign: he avoids intimacy completely, always tired, not in the mood, making excuses. Or the opposite, he becomes overly sexual, in a way that feels disconnected, rushed, or unfamiliar. He says things like, "You've changed," "You're too cold lately," or "You don't excite me anymore." What psychologists and sex therapists say? According to sex therapist Dr. Tammy Nelson, cheaters often detach emotionally and physically from their partners, or overcompensate to mask guilt. Either extreme is suspicious. And when they blame their partner, it's often a deflection from their own betrayal. Why women ignore this? Because we internalize it. We start to wonder, am I not attractive enough anymore? Is it my weight? Did I do something wrong? Number 6, it's not your fault. A man who cheats is making a decision, not because you failed, but because he lacks integrity. Real talk for every woman. If you're a woman in her 60s who's re-entering the dating world, or a woman in her 20s navigating love for the first time, one thing remains true. Your intuition is your best friend. Men can lie with words, but their patterns will always speak louder. And let's be clear, not every man who pulls away is cheating. But if several of these signs appear together, it's time to confront, not deny. What to do? If you suspect he's cheating, don't just snoop, observe. Don't just accuse, ask questions with confidence. Don't just cry, consult a licensed therapist or relationship coach. You are not powerless. You are not crazy. You are a woman, and your strength lies in knowing your worth and walking away when someone doesn't match it. Bonus wisdom for women in their 40s and 50s. Many women in midlife relationships stay silent because they don't want to start over. But remember, staying in a lie is more painful than walking into truth. As one therapist puts it, being alone in peace is better than being together in betrayal. Dear beautiful woman, whether you're in your 20s or your 70s, this message is for you. You're not crazy, you're not dramatic, you're not overthinking. You're waking up. If your gut is whispering, it's time to listen. A man who loves you deeply will never make you feel like you have to beg for clarity, for affection, or for the truth. Professionals agree. Psychologists, therapists, and coaches all say the same thing. Patterns speak louder than words. If he's hiding his phone, avoiding intimacy, changing his story, or shifting blame, it's not paranoia, it's proof. What strong women do when they suspect cheating? They don't chase, they observe. They don't beg, they speak with calm power. They don't settle, they choose self-respect over silent suffering. Whether you're married, dating, or somewhere in between, remember, you can rebuild a life, but you can't rebuild trust once it's been shattered repeatedly. Final message for every woman watching. If he's cheating, it's not because you weren't good enough. It's because he wasn't strong enough to be loyal. Never let betrayal convince you to dim your light. You are a queen, and you don't need to compete with another woman for a man who couldn't stay true. If this hit home, remember to share this video with another sister who needs it. You could be the reason she finally sees the truth. Ladies, remember, your intuition is powerful. Never ignore it. You deserve love, honesty, and respect. If this video helped you, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Let's keep the conversation going. Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Stay strong, stay wise, and remember, you are worth it. See you in the next video.